Leading ethical organization, corporate governance, corporate ethics, and social responsibility. Learning objectives. After this chapter, we should be able to understand and articulate answers to the following questions. First, what is the role of the firm's board of directors as it relates to ethical behaviors of the firm? Second, what is corporate social responsibility and its strategic role for a firm? Third, what are the implications of the contemporary ethical questions and issues facing companies? Chapter Overview. Introduction to the chapter explains that ethical leadership is critical for guiding organizations toward long-term success. Outline the chapter's three main themes: corporate governance, corporate ethics, and social responsibility. Also, importance of ethical leadership highlights how businessmen or businesses that prioritize ethics and responsibility gain stakeholder trust and avoid reputational risk. Connect to current global challenges like climate change and labor rights, which demand ethical practices. Second, example to engage the audience. For example, the protagonist, a leader in sustainability, estimates profits and repairs old products to minimize waste. Another example is Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol crisis. Pulled products off shelves to protect consumers, demonstrating the value of ethical decision making.
Today, more than ever, stockholders are replacing a variety of ethical and socially responsible demands on firms across industries. Subsequently, strategic management will be unsuccessful if it is performed in an ethical vacuum. Strategy development and implementation must reflect the firm's mission, vision, and values. Ethical assessment of the external and internal environments must be performed using accurate information and transparent process, even in competitive environments. When firms attempting to gain a competitive advantage, many companies engage in legitimate and accepted competitive tactics. But sometimes, firms cross the line and enter unethical and perhaps illegal space in their quest. The potential cost of unethical corporate business practice is borne by the perpetrator if they are caught. However, in many cases, like environmental dumping or exploitative labor practices, society and its members may pay the cost year before the firm does. Minimally, business level, corporate level, and international strategy development should always occur within acceptable practices in the industry and in light of the firm's own code of ethics and compliance. In year 2002, Blake McCluskey competed with his sister Paige on The Amazing Race, a reality show where groups of two people with existing relationships engage in a global race to win valuable prizes, with the winner receiving a coveted grand prize. Although Blake teams finished third in the second season of the show, the experience afforded him the opportunity to visit Argentina, where he returned in 2006 and developed the idea to build a company around the alpargata, a popular style of shoe in that region. The social initiative that thrived, Tom's shoes, stand in stark contrast to the criticism that plagued Nike Corporation, where claims of human rights violation, ranging from the use of sweet shops, and child labor to lack of compliance with minimum wage laws were rampant in the 1990s, while Nike struggled to win back confidence in buyers that were concerned with their business practices. Tom's social initiatives are a source of excellent publicity in pride in those who purchase their products. As further testament to their popularity, Tom's has engaged in partnership with Nordstorm, Disney and Element skateboards. Although the idea of social entrepreneurship and the birth of firms such as Tom's Shoes are relatively new, a push towards social initiative has been the source of debate and executive for decades. Issues that have sparked particular fierce debate include CEO pay and the role of today's modern corporations. In the early of 1990s and early 2000s, several corporate scandals were revealed in the United States that showed a lack of board vigilance. Perhaps the most famous involves Enron, whose executive antics were documented in the film The Smartest Guy in the Room. Enron used accounting loopholes to hide billions of dollars and failed deals of dollars in failed deals. When their scandal was discovered, top management cashed out millions in stock options while preventing lower-level employees from selling their stock. The collective acts of Enron led many employees to lose all their retirement holdings and their jobs. Stockholders lost $17 billion, and many Enron execs were sentenced into prison. This scandal also caused the dissolution of Enron's outside accounting firm. Arthur Andersen, one of the 5 largest accounting firms in the world at the time, around the same time as Enron, other corporate scandals created colossal damage. WorldCom, a telecommunication firm, inflated its assets. When discovered, shareholders lost $180 billion and 30,000 employees lost their jobs. Another famous one is Tyco, where the CEO of CFO stole $150 million and inflated the company revenues by $500 million. In the early of 2000, highly publicized fraud at Enron, WorldCom, Tyco, and other firms revealed significant issues including conflicts of interest by auditors and securities analysts, boardroom failures, and inadequate funding of the Securities and Exchange Commission. In response, Senator Paul Sarbanes and Representative Michael Oxley sponsored legislation that contained what former President George Bush called the most far-reaching reforms of American business practices since the time of Franklin D. Roosevelt. We outline the 11 key aspects of the law below.
Corporate governance, the main rules of boards of directors. Purified is commonly used phrase most closely associated with Donald Trump as his dismissed candidates on his reality show, The Apprentice, but who would have the power to utter these words to today's CEOs whose paycheck are on par with many of the top celebrities and athletes in the world. These honors belongs to the board of directors as a group of individuals that oversees the activities of an organization or corporations. Potentially firing or hiring a CEO is one of many roles played by the board of directors in their charge to provide effective corporate governance for the firm. An effective board plays many roles ranging from the approval of financial objectives, advertising on strategic issues, making the firm aware of relevant law, the presenting stakeholders who have an interest in long-term performance of the firm. So next, this is the table's rules of board members. First is accountant. Board members may at times approve financial objectives. Lawyer, ensuring the firm complies with applicable laws in a key rule. Third is advisor. Providing advice on strategies issues is a critical rule that is overlooked by less effective boards. Next is activities. Board must ensure the rights and interests of stakeholders, especially stockholders, are presented. Next is human resources manager agent. Boards must monitor the CEO and engage in hiring, firing, and the administrations of CEO compensations because board members may serve in powerful positions at other companies as well. Network board member may be able to bring new connections to the firm. Managing CEO compensations. One of the most visible rules of boards of directors is setting CEO pay. The valuations of the human capital associated with the rare talent possessed by one's CEOs can be illustrated in a story of an encounter one tourist had with the legendary artist Pablo Picasso. As the story goes, Picasso was once spotted by a human sketching, overwhelmed with excitement at the serendipitous meeting. The tourist offered Picasso fair market value if he would render a quick sketch of her image. After completing his commission, she was shocked when he asked for 5,000 francs, responding, "But if only took to you a few minutes." Undeterred, Picasso retorted, "No, it took me all my life." This story illustrates the complexity associated with managing CEO compensations. On the one hand, large corporations must pay competitive wage for the scarce talent that is needed to manage billion-dollar corporations in addition, like celebrities and sports stars. CEO pay is much more than a function of a day work. For a day pay, CEO compensation is a market-driven function of the competitive wage that other corporations would offer for a potential CEO service. So this is the tables of perks of being a CEO. Corporate social responsibility. As introduced early in this chapter, corporate social responsibility or CSR is a self-regulating business model that helps a company be socially accountable to itself, its stakeholders, and the public by practicing corporate social responsibility, also referred to simply as social responsibility. Companies can be conscious of kind of impact they are having all on all aspects of society, including economic, social, and environmental. Philanthropy is the simplest form of CSR, where a firm donates funds to a non-profit organization such as the local volunteer rescue squad for the American Cancer Society. However, CSR can take many forms, with the end result that society benefits in some way. Environmental effort is CSR might include reducing the company's populations or helping to clean up the plastics that waste up on beaches, supporting the local literacy volunteers by encouraging employees to participate to help adults learn to read and write provides a social benefit. Some examples of CSR efforts are reducing their carbon footprint, Coca-Cola, ensuring contract manufacturers pay a living wage, Patagonia, improving sustainable manufacturing, BMW, matches employees' donations to nonprofits, Microsoft and Google, reducing carbon emissions, United Airlines, promoting literacy among children, Twitter, eliminating foam cups, dunking, donating employees' hours to children's tutoring, Salesforce.
Modern challenges faced today. First, the labor practices. Businesses are expected to ensure fair wages and provide safe working conditions for employees. Exploitative labor practices can lead to public backlash and harm the company's reputation. For example, Nike faced significant criticism in 1990s for poor working conditions in its factories. In response, the company reformed its practices, including stricter oversight and for better work policies. Next is the environmental sustainability. Companies are increasingly pressured to adopt environmental friendly practices to combat climate change and reduce their carbon footprint. Example, the Walmart has committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emission by 50% by 2030 as part of the sustainability goals. Third, the corporate transparency. Stakeholders demand accurate, clear, and honest information about the company's operations, decisions, and impact. It lack of transparency can lead to mistrust and regulatory penalties. And lastly, ethics versus legal compliance. Businesses may face situations where actions that are legal may not align with the ethical standards. Ethical businesses often go beyond mere legal compliance to meet social expectations. For example, a company may legally avoid taxes through loopholes, but ethically this might be perceived as shrinking social responsibility. So here's the question. Do you think businesses should prioritize ethics even if it increases cost? Why or why not? Explain the topics. Ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is a cornerstone of sustainable business success. Leaders who prioritizes integrity, inspire trust, foster loyalty, and drive long-term growth. And integration of ethics, governance, and social responsibility, companies must embed those principles into their core strategy, making them central to decision-making processes and operations. When it comes in balancing profit with responsibility, businesses should strive to balance profitability with their obligation to the society and the business and the environment. This approach not only to meet societal expectation but also ensures lasting success.